Peace be upon you and welcome to Connect Quran. In the previous section, we learned that one group of Bani Isra'il who believed in Allah, the hereafter and the previous scriptures, disbelieved and oppressed Prophet Muhammad and his followers, who were residing with them at place A. And this led to forced migration and thus resettlement of Prophet Muhammad and his followers at place B. Since these relocated believers had known the truth and they had family ties at place A, so they wanted their family and friends to succeed in the hereafter by believing and following the Quran. Therefore, they reached out to them and invited them to believe in the Quran, despite being persecuted by them, along with those who had joined the community of believers from place B as they sought to spread the message. This section 5.4 provides answers to the questions like how did disbelievers respond to believers' invite? And why did they respond that way? And here is how this section is organized. The outer topic, which consists of one verse from the top and one verse from the bottom end, summarizes the response of disbelievers group of Bani Isra'il to the believers' invite. Then the inner topic, consisting of three central verses, provides additional details to elaborate the points raised in the outer topic. With this background information and listing of keywords along with their meanings, let's begin with the translation and interpretation of the verses of this section. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وقالوا قلوبنا غلف. And when believers invited people from disbelievers group of Bani Isra'il to the Quran, they said, "Our hearts are covered by Allah with a protective layer against receiving this message of the Quran, since we are close to Allah." بَلْ لَعَنَهُمُ اللَّهُ بِكُفْرِهِمْ فَقَلِيلًا مَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. But that's not the case, and rather Allah has distanced them from Him because of their persistence in unmindfulness. So only a few people from them are believing. So this verse is telling believers why their message is being rejected by most people from this group of disbelievers, whom they may have family ties with, and establishes that most people from disbelievers group of Bani Isra'il remained unmindful. And how did they remain unmindful? Here is how. وَلَقَدْ جَاءَكُم مُوسَى بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ ثُمَّ اتَّخَذْتُمُ الْعِجْلَ مِن بَعْدِهِ وَأَنْتُمْ ظَالِمُونَ. And Moses certainly came to you with clear revelations when you were rescued from Pharaoh. Then after a while you took a calf for worshipping in his absence, and you were wrongdoers. Now these disbelieving people were not alive at the time of Moses, so they could not do it. But this verse implies that they ignored clear proof like their forefathers. So this outer topic summarizes majority of the people from disbelieving group of Bani Isra'il did not believe the Quran despite seeing the clear proof. So Allah distanced them from Him because of their persistence in unmindfulness. And now the question is, how did they see the clear proof? Here is how. وَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ كِتَابٌ مِّنْ عِندِ اللَّهِ مُصَدِّقٌ لِمَا مَعَهُمْ. And when a book has come to them from Allah, confirming what they have, meaning their existing code of conduct, so the first clear proof for them was that the Quran was confirming their existing scriptures or the code of conduct they had. If it wasn't from Allah, it must have taught something different. And secondly, وَكَانُوا مِن قَبْلُ يَسْتَفْتِحُونَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. And they themselves have been in this state before, in which believers are now, that they have been opening the truth through Allah's revelations on those who persisted in being unmindful. So they are very familiar how Allah's revelations look like in terms of their content. Thus, there is no way that they don't recognize the Quran being sent from Allah. فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُم مَّا عَرَفُوا كَفَرُوا بِهِ. So when the guidance from Allah in the form of Quran, has come to them, what they have recognized to be true and sent down from Allah, they disbelieved it, meaning they remained unmindful about it. فَلَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. So Allah's condemnation is on the disbelievers, meaning they have been distanced by Allah from Him. Now the question arises, why did they reject the Quran despite recognizing that it is from Allah? Here is why. بِئْسَ مَا اشْتَرَوْا بِهِ أَنفُسَهُمْ أَن يَكْفُرُوا بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ بَغْيًا أَن يُنَزِّلَ اللَّهُ مِن فَضْلِهِ عَلَى مَن يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ فَبَاءُوا بِغَضَبٍ عَلَى غَضَبٍ وَلِلْكَافِرِينَ عَذَابٌ مُهِينٌ. Evil it is what they have purchased with themselves by being persistently unmindful regarding what Allah has sent down, an object of intense desire, that Allah sends down by His favor to whomever He wills, from His servants. So, they have gone back to their previous state of disbelieving with wrath upon wrath from Allah for acting arrogantly by considering themselves entitled to receiving Allah's revelations, plus rejecting Allah's message. And there is lowly making punishment for the disbelievers, which means the punishment will make them humble. So the reason why they rejected the Quran despite recognizing that it is indeed from Allah is that they wanted the Quran to be revealed to them, or at least to their tribe, being an object of intense desire among people, and thinking that they deserve it, since they had been reading the earlier scriptures and practicing religion, whereas Prophet Muhammad and his tribe were Ummi people, meaning they did not have prior knowledge of the scripture. So they acted like they have authority to judge themselves and other people, demonstrating their arrogance, which made them forget that no one is entitled to receiving Allah's revelations, but rather it is a favor from Allah, let it be an individual or a tribe, and He can favor whomever He wills. And the problem with arrogant people is that they don't listen to others, even if they are telling the right things. So, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ آمِنُوا بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ قَالُوا نُؤْمِنُ بِمَا أُنزِلَ عَلَيْنَا وَيَكْفُرُونَ بِمَا وَرَاءَهُ وَهُوَ الْحَقُّ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا مَعَهُمْ قُلْ فَلِمَ تَقْتُلُونَ أَنْبِيَاءَ اللَّهِ مِنْ قَبْلُ إِنْ كُنْتُمْ مُؤْمِنِينَ. And when it is said to them, believe in what Allah has sent down, meaning the Quran, they say, we believe what was sent down on us. And they disbelieve, meaning they refuse to accept the truth and remain unmindful of whatever is beyond it, which was sent down to them. And it, the Quran, is the truth, confirming what they already have with them, meaning their existing code of conduct. Say, then why have you been killing Allah's proclaimers earlier, if you are true believers, since your existing code of conduct did not preach you to do it? So you don't have any basis to support what you are doing. In summary, disbelievers acted arrogantly and refused to accept the truth. And therefore, Allah distanced disbelievers group of Bani Isra'il from Him because of their own wrongdoing. And since disbelievers group of Bani Isra'il was convinced of two things: one, the Quran is indeed from Allah, but it is they who were entitled to receiving the Quran from Allah rather than Prophet Muhammad and his tribe. So this led to the following response. First, they refused to believe in the Quran. Then they declared the messenger angel their enemy, suggesting that the angel disobeyed Allah by delivering the Quran to Prophet Muhammad instead of to them. And that's why they said earlier that our hearts are covered with a protective layer from Allah from receiving this message, which is being delivered by a disobeying messenger angel. And also they treated the human messenger, Prophet Muhammad, and his followers as their enemy, and thus oppressed them, as we have learned before. And now the question is, how should Prophet Muhammad, a human messenger and proclaimer, respond to disbelievers upon declaring him and the messenger angel as enemies? This question will be answered in section 6, which we will cover in the next video, inshallah. Notice I am using the terms prophet and proclaimer interchangeably, which means in Connect Quran, the word prophet refers to someone who officially declares Allah's message to their fellow humans. Now, before concluding this video, let's synthesize section 5. So in the outer topic of this section, wrongdoers who profess belief in Allah, His guidance and the hereafter, but ignore, misuse or abuse His revelations because of their superiority complex, are warned to mend their ways or be prepared for the punishment. Whereas the new or true believers are forewarned to stay vigilant about the evil actions of the wrongdoers. The inner topic, consisting of 4 interconnected subsections, outlines the required actions for the wrongdoers to mend their ways, which are required precautions for the new or true believers to avoid failure. In section 5.1, wrongdoers were told to refrain from making excuses for not following Allah's message, whereas believers were told to never make excuses for not following Allah's message. In 5.2, new or true believers were told that wrongdoers distorted the original message of the Quran through hadith, so stay away from it. And wrongdoers were advised to refrain from distorting the Quran's true message in order to continue following their desires and then find excuses to present in the hereafter. Then in 5.3, they were further told to refrain from partially adhering to Allah's message, whereas new or true believers were forewarned that partial adherence to Allah's message won't help in the hereafter. Then in the last subsection, they were further advised that they should never be arrogant and claim entitlement of Allah's favors. Where on the flip side, the wrongdoers were told to refrain from being arrogant and claiming entitlement of Allah's favors. This is just a broad snapshot of this whole section, and I strongly encourage you to review each component of this section in detail for a much deeper understanding of the content. With this note, I would like to conclude this video. Please like and share this video to support the content, and subscribe to the channel for staying current with the updates. Thanks for listening. And for those who are here for the first time, this channel Connect Quran is dedicated to developing a better understanding of the Quran by delving deep into its structured topics with remarkable compositions. So discover profound insights by following this sequential study of the Quran, starting with the video Quran's Interpretation, Thinking Outside the Box. Thanks again for watching the video. May peace and blessings be with you.